Hickok 45. Beautiful, huh? Yes, Hickok 45. Hickok 40. Oh, come on now. Be quiet, Steve Lee. You're a great songwriter and singer, but yes, Hickok 45, your internet shooting companion, coming to you from the beautiful hills of Middle Tennessee. Yes, Tennessee, the home of Chet Atkins, Davy Crockett, Jeff Quinn, lots of people, lots of other insane people besides myself. Don't you imagine? Yes. And the sad thing about insane people is most of us insane people are not in sane asylums, right? So yeah, it's a dangerous place to be, right? The whole world. So glad you're here, and you saw I brought out a beautiful lever gun. I haven't shot it in a long time. Those are the first shots I fired probably, I don't remember, a year. I don't know when I had it out the last time. But old favorite, Model 94 Marlin. It still has a round or two in it, just lots of ammo in that thing. You know, the old cowboy assault rifle. Let me empty it. Can I do that? Let's shoot something else. I hit that hog right where he needs to be hit. I'm gonna hit him again. Like, oh, put it right on top of the other one. Wow, what a feat of marksmanship. Yeah, it's finally empty. That was the last round. So you have seen this if you've been around. It's a favorite of mine, maybe some of yours. It's a JM Marlin. It's a Marlin, 1894 model, but made, you know, obviously it's not an old one, but you know, it's getting old. I bought it new in '97. It occurred to me this morning, guess how old that is? Well, according to my Kentucky math, it won't be long before I'll have an excuse to get it out for a quarter-century anniversary next year, right? Am I correct? Quarter of a century. It's almost 25 years, quarter of a century. So yeah, it's been 24 years since I bought this thing. Wow. And I'm ashamed to admit where I bought it. Because I mean, I don't mean to bash big box stores. You know, I go to Bass Pro occasionally, places like that. Academy Sports occasionally, rare. But I could not find one of these, and I was getting into cowboy action shooting, and I had to buy. I told this story. I had to buy. You know, you have to use a pistol caliber, you know, rifle, and I had a beautiful 1886 Browning, you know, 4570, but I didn't have a pistol caliber lever gun. Saw no use for one. Wasn't interested. This is crazy. I can't use my 4570. What? The ultimate cowboy gun. I got to go buy a lever gun that shoots a pistol round. What am I going to do with that? Just for the matches? And I looked around and I observed a match or two, and a lot of people were using these, and they were appealing. You know, I like the Marlin, octagonal barrel and everything, but I couldn't find one. They were hard to find, probably because of the increase in the numbers of cowboy action shooters at the time. That was a fast-growing sport back in the 90s, and I guess I don't know if it's growing now or holding its own or what, but it was growing fast, and just couldn't find one. And I did find one at Sports Unlimited. I think those are still around. I think I saw one in my travels, you know, somewhere. I thought they were gone, but I think they're still around. There was one in Nashville, and I bought it there. There's no place I could find it. And I hate to buy guns at places like that where, you know, I don't know what it's like. but they walk you to the door and all that kind of stuff. I just don't do it. You know, Bass Pro is do kind of the same thing, I guess, because I bought one gun there once. It was on a gift card. A former student had given me when I retired from teaching. I quit teaching, and so I had no choice. And I didn't have much choice on this if I was going to get one. But that's okay. They had it, and that was '97. It's amazing how time flies, isn't it? And I've always liked it. I mean, it shoots well, buttery action, and since I put the Skinner sights on it, I can't miss. If I miss, boy, am I having a bad day. It's hard to miss with at reasonable distances, reasonably sized targets and all that. And man, it's just the ultimate. 45 Colt, if I didn't say that. And I need to remind myself of that. I brought ammo, and I brought a box of Federal 44 Magnum along. And I'll talk about that. I have to watch it a little bit with, I don't mix up ammo. I mean, that's rare that I mix up ammo. I mean, I'm still here. I ain't blowing myself up. But I think I have mixed up the times I have gotten the wrong ammo or grabbed the wrong ammo or even started to load it, whatever. I have had, just as a warning to everybody, or advice to be careful. I have had more trouble with 45 Colt versus 44 Magnum, just in my experience, than anything else. And that's largely because I have so many rifles and handguns that are chambered in both. And at a glance, they look alike. You just kind of forget. I shoot so much of both, and always have, so it's more likely to happen. But yeah, I picked up 44 Mag. Well, what I was shooting, and one thing that dawned on me as I was cleaning up some and straightening up, I uncovered some hand loads. 45 Colt I had loaded, years ago. Some 300 grain bullets, 45 Colt. And they're pretty warm loads. They're really I call them my Marlin loads, or Ruger maybe, but they're not for Colt single action armies. Okay, these are pretty hot, heavy bullet. Probably wouldn't blow a Colt single action army up, but you never know. You never know. And I mean, I don't have Colt single actions to try to turn them into 44 Magnums. Don't do that. If you want something that's really powerful, get a 44 Magnum or a 500 or something. Don't try to overload your ammo. Don't try to load your 38 specials up to 357 Magnum. Get a 357 Magnum. So I don't do that. But these things, I've read articles, back in the day about 45 Colt and how it can be if you're a hand loader, an incredibly versatile round. Everybody thinks a 45 Colt is, kind of weak in a lot of ways as compared with 44 Magnum and others, 41 Magnum or whatever. And in factory loadings, there's a difference, right? But if you're loading your own, there are some firearms chambered in 45 Colt. You just got to be aware of which ones you're loading for. Like the Rugers, Vaqueros, and Blackhawks, and don't quote me on this, but many of those guns are stronger than a Colt single action. And then the Marlin, of course, and then other rifles, modern rifles, they'll withstand this thing will withstand the same pressure. I've got this same gun in 44 Magnum, for example. There's no difference really in the construction. They'll both handle the same pressure. And so I could actually load, quote unquote, Magnum 45 Colt rounds in this. So that's kind of what I've done. But you'll notice too, being the genius I am, I loaded these. I got some nickel cases. These are all nickel cases. So whenever I see, actually, it's not that I'm a genius. It's just that I'm aware of how dumb I am. And so I try to make things simple for myself. And I loaded all these in nickel cases because I wasn't going to load thousands and thousands of them or anything, or even shoot that many. But it's because I load them, and pack them away, shoot them occasionally, and everything. It's just nice to have a different look. Okay, because you don't really find 45 Colt in nickel cases very much. I mean, you think if anybody loads it in nickel cases, but I found nickel cases somewhere. Where did I find them? These are Remington cases. I don't know where. I used to order them somewhere. And brand deduction. And So when I see a nickel case, I know that's Magnum. That's for the Marlin, you know. Or if I had a Ruger, I guess though, you know, I say all that, but this is maybe the only. Am I not thinking of something? The only 45 Colt I have that could be a Magnum 45 Colt, right? Man, I have so many 40. Yeah, because most of them are historical, new service revolvers, my Colts. I don't have a Ruger Vaquero right now. Well, I got the Blackhawk. Yeah, isn't it wonderful to have so many guns that you forget what you have? Yeah, I really do sometimes. So that's a good place to be. I fully appreciate that, and I'm very thankful how lucky I am. But yeah, that's right. I have the Ruger Blackhawk that I got not all that long ago. It's okay. In my defense, I haven't had it all that long. I replaced that. It was my first centerfire gun. You know, many of you know that story, and so it would shoot these just fine, I would guess. You know, I don't need to shoot them in it. I got them. I built them and reloaded them for this mainly. Okay. To take full advantage of this and turn it into kind of a poor man's 45-70. That's really kind of what this comes down to. There's not a, you get right down to it, there's not a lot of difference between this rifle, this 45 Colt, and especially my Marlin Model 95, you know, that looks like that. You almost can't tell the difference. You know, you've seen it, you haven't seen it lately, I haven't had it out lately, but it's a Marlin 95 Cowboy Limited in 45-70. So it's kind of the same, almost the same gun. What is it, maybe a little longer? I'll tell you, I'll have to get these two out together. I can't tell any difference. Maybe that'll make a good comparison, shooting these rounds in 45-70 or whatever. But it's kind of a poor man's 45-70 is what you turn it into if you hand load. Or you can order from some boutique loader or someone that just loads hot 45 Colt. I guess like Buffalo Bore does that, maybe Double Tap. There's so many of those kinds of companies now that do load for specific types of firearms that will handle it. So I got off on all that, didn't I? A lot. I probably should talk more about the guns and less about all the other stuff I talk about. So, but anyway, and of course, ballast and paddling grips. Yes, let me finish this off, can I? Do you mind? Oh man. You notice that plate I shot in the opening that knocked it crazy. That was, you know, again, an indicator this is a hot 45 Colt round, heavy bullet. It really sent that thing, I don't know what it did. It pinned it against the hanger or something. But yeah, what this is about, yeah, seriously, we appreciate everybody that helps us out and makes this possible. We're very, very, very fortunate. This is the 365 XL Spectre new model. You know, it's got the X frame and everything. So thought I'd get it out and shoot it. It was dirty. We did one video with it. We're going to do one more. And so yeah, let's get this thing out and shoot a little bit more. I am growing fonder and fonder of the P365 XL in any format. I've got I've got it. I've got a holster. I even have a holster cross draw for the XL. Got it right now, and wear it around a lot. Not this one. I had this one in there today, but I got mine, and I've got it wrapped in, you know, Talon grips, and I mean, it just feels like $1,000,000. It's, I'll tell you what. Well, I think we tend to think of these as just a big P365, and probably some people discount them, thinking, yeah, 365 is big enough, it's kind of marginal, I'm trying to carry it in my pocket, and this is getting a little big or whatever. I tell you, I've grown to think of it a little bit differently. I think of it in terms of more so a smaller Glock 19 type gun. Most people are not going to carry, not so much a pocket gun, although I carry this in my pocket sometimes. In a good holster, you can do it. And pockets that aren't too small. But I think it probably has more appeal and would to most people as a smaller, and I say Glock 19, name any model you want, whether it's a Walther, a SIG, M&P, whatever it is, in a Glock 19 kind of size. You got kind of the same gun, just a couple fewer rounds, you know, maybe 3. I mean, you get 10, no, you got 12 plus 1, you know, so, you know, you're not talking about a lot less ammo, plenty of capacity, and a little bit lighter and a little thinner, but really pretty much as shootable and feels good. Not a lot of difference in shootability. I might be able to shoot a Glock 19 a little better, I don't know, but there's just not a lot of difference. This thing gives you plenty to hang on to, plenty of sight radius, and they feel good. They really do. So anyway, the XL is something to consider. Again, not in place of a P365, you know, small one, or some of the other, yeah, not in place of a micro compact, because this takes it into, for me, more of a lighter weight, thinner, smaller, compact pistol. You know, kind of compare it with those pistols and see what you think. I don't know. I'm not selling them. I just like them. I liked it enough to buy one, but not this one. This is the Spectre, and you'll see this is a kind of pricey one. It's like 1,100 bucks for that distressed and the lightning cuts and that interesting slide and everything. Mostly, the biggest difference, I guess, between it and the regular XL. And it's got the laser engraved grips. Those are pretty nice grips. They really are. I like a wraparound, make them a little bigger myself. If they were a little bit bigger, they would feel really good. They feel good anyway, but yeah, not bad. Probably some of the best grips that come with a pistol that I've felt. You know, you get really good friction with it. That's nice, as long as it stays that way. Boom, yeah, I like that pretty well. So you'll see that popping up. It's a nice pistol. So anyway, a couple of different types of pistols, right? Yeah. Sort of. So what do you want to know about? I don't know. Oh, I wanted to say hi to, let's see, I made a note. Yeah, there's a group of people that meet. I forget what state it's in. I know they told me that long ago, that watch the Sunday videos. So good morning to Alex, Drake, and crew. Y'all gather at, I think it's at the range, and watch the video, the idiocy I talk about and everything on Sunday mornings, and have coffee and whatever, probably Jack Daniels and, you know, whatever else anybody wants to bring, right? But anyway, good morning to you all. Appreciate you watching and tuning in. I hear lots of stories about some of the idiosyncrasies of some of the weird folks in your group. I can relate to weird. And then one other thing I wanted to mention on a comment. I saw a person wrote from Finland, said that she coaches the biathlon team in Finland at a high school, I think. She's the principal of that high school. Wrote a note to me, Maria, and I'll butcher her last name. But anyway, hello to you from Finland. Kind of nice. To hear from people around the world, as we do every day, of course. But it's a big world out there with the internet. You know, the world got a lot. Well, it's a smaller world, really, with the internet. Kind of strange how things have changed in my lifetime. You all don't notice it as much, but it's interesting, and we all take it for granted. And you talk to people from wherever, Australia, anywhere on the globe, you know, just on a daily basis, and don't think much about it. So, but anyway, so I might load up a few more of these big boomers. 300 grain bullets. Makes for a purty package. Big old, it's different shape. It doesn't look like a traditional 45 Colt, does it? And you got 300 grains packed into one of those things, and then a fair amount of powder. I think I load 2,400 in these. And I don't ever get into loads and all that kind of thing, you know, obviously. Liability. If you get into reloading, hand loading, you know, people get frustrated, I think, because maybe none of us puts out enough videos on that, in your estimation. In fact, I think YouTube, Google frowns on that anyway now. But you just need to study up and be a little bit of a scientist about it, but it's not that hard, really. There's plenty of references and tables, and we'll tell you what powder works well, read about it with certain bullet weights and all that, and you just make sure you're never going to the max, you know, especially starting out. You just, whatever the recommended load is from a valid source. Oh, I'm gonna get knocked out by one of these walnuts. You hear that one hit? A minute ago before I started the video, I was talking to John, and I mean, it sounded like a machine gun, like 5 or 6 came down at one time. I think it was a breeze down there, but thud against the ground. But you do want to, you know, study carefully. It's not all that hard, but then again, you do need to study and be a bit of a tinkerer to some extent and get it right. You know, get it right. Don't want to get blowed up, right? Don't want to blow yourself up. Or the person next to you, more importantly. All right. Oh, that hog. Let's put another one on the gong. What to? That knocks him around. Coughing. All right. Oh, how did I empty half of that 2-liter down there? I don't know if you can see that orange one. Finished him off. I'll pop the Cowboy. I think you'll be able to tell. Yeah, they're heavy. Cowboy's heavy. But so is 300 grains of lead. Or is it so are 300 grains of lead? Yeah. So is a 300 grain bullet. So are 300 grains of lead. Let's see, what do we want here? How about that bowling pin way down there? Boom. That's another way you can tell. The way it knocks them off. Yeah, they don't hesitate. Oh, we got a pumpkin we'll have to work on here too. How many rounds do I have left? Let me put a couple more. I'm gonna let the hammer down. Put a couple more in it. I was thinking, I never do this. We do one pumpkin carving a year kind of thing. Let me see if I can carve him a little bit. There we go. Got him at least a couple eyes and a nose. That's why this is the best kept secret, the Cowboy assault rifle. Don't tell anybody about that. I tell you what, a lever gun, if you live somewhere where your politicians are more or less tyrants or want to be tyrants, okay, totalitarians, and your choice of firearms is really, really limited, maybe a lever gun is legal. And you could do worse. You could do worse. They really are nice. The world, changed dramatically. John and I talk about this. You know, if we're watching a Western or talking about the West, and if you're way out west on the frontier, really, really dangerous. You know, back in the 1850s, 60s, 70s, and whatever. It was just a huge leap. Think about it, from packing around a single shot muzzle loader to a lever gun, you know, like the Henry or the Winchester 1866, 1873. Think about the difference right there, the difference. If you have one shot and then it's to your Bowie knife, you know, and you got multiple assailants or something, you don't have a lot of chance, maybe, right? You probably don't have a lot of chance unless there's a lot of you. If there's 5 or 6 of you, then you've got 6 shots, you know. Whereas if you got a good a lever gun, if you got a Henry, you know, or 1873 or, you know, something like this, they're the same thing. I mean, you're you know, 15 shots or something. You talk about an equalizer. Talk about an equalizer. I always feel a lot safer roaming the prairie, you know, with a Henry rifle or an 1873 like that. Not only that, as you fire and you get, you know, a pause in the action, you know, in the engagement, you got pocket full of ammo on your belt, you can be topping it off just like a shotgun. So you essentially may never run dry, to where you have to actually stop and take a minute or two to reload or something. So they're underestimated, and the fun factor is really underestimated too. You get right down to it. So what have I been doing? Like you care. I don't know. Again, welcome to Smith & Wesson. Yeah, welcome in. I went to for the first time in my life, last weekend, I went to Bowling Green, Beach Bend Park, to a drag race. You ever been to a drag race? That's kind of new, something different, you know. I thought I'd get to one of those before I got old, right? A friend of mine I went to college with, played basketball with, has been into that forever. In fact, he's one of the, in his class or whatever he does, he wins around the country. He travels around the country and does it. You know, he's doing it, runs a Barracuda for what year it is. But he's a big, ugly guy like me. And I never seen him race, you know. And so he was at Beach Bend. We stayed in contact periodically and every now and then. And so lives up in Kentucky. And so we went up there and watched it. It was kind of neat, really neat experience. I'm not crazy about all that. I would never get into it probably, but I'm not a car guy in that sense. It's like guns. You're either into it or not. Golf, horses, whatever. You know, you're either really into it or you're just not. You can kind of take it or leave it. But it's interesting to see how it goes, what they do to the cars, and how fast they are. how fast. I think he got to 128 miles per hour on that quarter mile. You know, it's just I've not done that before. Come close riding with some people in college, but you know, think of the G-force that must be. You know, they just pin you back. You know, you're getting to 128 miles an hour that quick. You know, it's pretty interesting. But anyway, I enjoyed that. It's kind of different. And again, let me give a disclaimer. It's a Sunday video where we shoot and talk. I still occasionally see somebody upset. You know, they don't know what the Sunday videos are. I don't either. I don't know what the Sunday videos are, to tell you the truth. But speaking of powder and guns and reloading, it is a shame that if you didn't hear, and you may not care, I got to tighten that screw. I've got a screw loose. Imagine that. You know what? If you excuse me a second, I've got a screwdriver right here. I bought this new box that actually has a little compartment. I thought I'll just keep a screwdriver in that. I end up going over the other range of places, and I don't have a screwdriver sometimes. Yeah, that magazine screw, I think, got loosened. Yeah, loosened up a little bit, holds a magazine on. There we go. That's the thing with old guns or this kind of design. You don't want to keep track. And I tightened the screws up before when I got it out. Those bone jarring rounds, you know, I guess loosen up a little bit. But you want to check your screws on a gun like this, Colt single action or that screw, lever screw. It's not a big deal. It doesn't bother me a bit. Yeah, it's funny that people get upset about that almost, because on their new polymer wonders, you never have to tighten up anything. These old guns, that's what makes them so interesting. It's not a big deal. All right. But you may have heard that GoX, the classic black powder manufacturer, is not making it anymore. You know, and they were the only American-made black powder, and I think had been making it since like about 1807 or something like that. You've seen the red cans. They use the GoX is what I've used, and I didn't know that was happening, but like I have warned you all many times or advised you, you want to work ahead and make sure you got a little bit of a stash on things that you know you're going to use. And I have several pounds of it, and I'll be able to shoot GoX. You'll see GoX on the shooting table when we have muzzle loaders out for a long time probably, okay? Because I was a few pounds ahead. When I see someone has it, I would just pick up a couple of pounds, and it's hardly anybody does have it. And so for that was one of the reasons I try to stay ahead on it, because you just can't get it anywhere. Tennessee, the only two places I know of near me is there's a saddle shop down in Triune, Tennessee that used to sell it. And I mean, they did until they couldn't get any now. And then Union City, Dixie Gun Works, and there may be somebody else I'm not aware of, but probably not, at least in Middle Tennessee. And so I would make sure I'd buy black powder when I went there. So anyway, yeah, that's sad. That's too bad. But and because I shoot black powder, for a lot of you it doesn't matter. Even if you hunt with muzzle loaders and that kind of thing, many of you use substitute fake black powder, right? Imitation black powder. But if I'm going to shoot a muzzle loader, I want it, because I shoot the traditional guns, you know, so I shoot the traditional powder, and I make the traditional mess. So I have to clean up the traditional mess, right? And my hands are black, and my face is black, and my shirt, if I've got a shirt on that's not black, it gets black from the soot and everything else. So anyway, too bad. And I've never shot black powder in this. When I started, I used this for, I don't know, 2 or 3 years in cowboy action shooting. That's what I bought it for. But then I noticed there was a trend. People were shooting the 1873s, a few of them were, and I've always liked that. Talk about historical gun and design, the 1873 Winchester. And well, the one most people were using was the U-Birdie, of course. And I ran across one of those at a gun show in Nashville, and that was, I have to look at the date, so I don't know when that was. It might have been 1990, or not 90, but year 2000 or something, or I don't know if that was 1999. I'll look it up. But so I bought it, and I got to using it after that. And then I also switched to shooting Frontier cartridge, which is black powder. And so that's the only lever gun I have, that U-Birdie 1873, that I have actually shot black powder in. Now, you know how black powder is, the mess and everything. Well, you know, when you're a lever gun, you got a lot of action there to get, you know, messy and everything. So I'm not, as much as I like black powder, and I shot black powder on my Colts, you know, when I competed with those, and the shotgun, but the cleaning is just a little easier than with a lever gun. And so I don't just randomly, willy-nilly say, oh, I'll try a couple of black powder. I've got a lot of them still loaded. I'm not going to shoot them in this, even though they're 45 Colt. I'm just not going to get black powder into action. There's no need to, okay? So, but in that 1873, I'll do it. You've seen me do it, something, right? And we'll do it again, probably. Yeah, these are nice guns. So anyway, black powder I was talking about. Look, I shoot this pistol again. I've got a couple of mags loaded. I happen to have like 4 mags because I own one of these. So the 2 that come with this one, and plus the 2 that came with mine. And I think I have another one somewhere, because I bought a couple, I think. Let's work on that pumpkin a little more. You want to? Just put some more holes in. You put a third eye messing around there, didn't I? So yeah, this is the Spectre. I don't know if you can tell that distressed finish on that, if you like that at all. As I say in the video, it's a neat gun. It really is. There's really nothing against it. I'm not sure which one I like better, mine or this one. But for the price, I don't know. It's kind of expensive to get that look. So you know, I think it will not appeal to a lot of people for that reason. But then again, it will appeal to a lot of people for that reason, because it really is different, the X-frame. Let's see if we can get the gong with this thing. All right, it'll reach out. See if it'll hit a blue 2-liter. Or a pig. Yeah, man. How about a bowling pin right here? Oh, there's a 2-liter sitting there I missed. So yeah, XL, this is the Spectre version of the P365 XL. Yep. A lot of great choices these days for firearms. Have you noticed that? When this came in, And one of you all asked me about it, and I looked it up and said, yeah, why not? We'll look at that. I like the 365 series and everything. And I got looking at those guns on their site and all the variations. They offer this with a gold barrel and different things. And they've got the Spectre series and the 320 X frame as well, I think. It's kind of like this, but it's the 320 X frame. They have some really cool guns. I'll have to say, SIG has, they stepped up their game, I guess, years back, really. You know, the ammo they make, they offer a lot of ammo. And of course they got the military contract. I'm not saying they're the best guns on the market. They're good guns, and you know, people have problems. People have, when I say problems, I don't mean the guns are malfunctioning necessarily, but you know, people have problems with everything. There's haters for every gun maker, and they have their haters, what I'm trying to say. They're dislikers, of course, and I don't love every model they make, but boy, they make some nice guns. I like that M17, right? Yeah, Model 17. Military is just a great shooter, and these are too. So I'm very pleased. Actually, I'm carrying SIGs more than Glocks, you know, lately. Just because of the model, the size. As always, I'm very consistent. Even though I have a lot invested in Glock and magazines, and I've shot them a lot. My priorities are reliability, a firearm of the correct size for my purpose, and it's what led me to Glock in the first place. The reliability of it, the relatively lightweight of it, and simplicity of it. All those things are factors that attract me. It wasn't that I had an investment in Glock or something in their stock. I just, and there's a lot of other guns now that attract me for the same reason. The size of this is it's just very attractive. I can't tell I have it on, hardly. It's just not that heavy. And you got 12+1 rounds, and just, it feels good. You got a good trigger. You know, those are the kinds of things that attract me. And, you know, whoever makes it. So, yeah, pretty nice gun. What else did you want to know about? Nothing? You know, I saw, gosh, I don't even know what it was. It was maybe an ad on TV or something in a magazine, and something that was just a footnote. It talked about it being recommended or not recommended, or recommended something, the use of it by the CDC and everything. And it occurred to me how politics aside and everything else, that used to be something that had more meaning to us, or more positive meaning, if it was like something recommended or authorized by the CDC, or investigated, researched by the CDC or whatever, because everybody knows that, wow, the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control in Atlanta, that's the ultimate, right? They're the authority on everything having to do with germs or bacteria. And yeah, I just sort of grew up. It's like the FBI or CIA or even the IRS. None of us likes to pay taxes, but those organizations, those agencies, yeah, I grew up with an immense amount of respect for all those agencies, almost in awe. You know, when you meet an FBI agent, someone who's actually in the FBI, you know, or IRS or anything. I've met people in all those groups. You're just impressed that, wow, you represent, you work for them. Because it's not easy to get hired or to become an FBI agent, for example. Or if you work at the CDC, you're not just some joker that read a medical book one day, you know, I would guess. You know, so I've always had a lot of respect and you know, for people in those agencies. And anyway, it occurred to me what a shame it is that in recent years we've all, I think, lost a certain amount of respect for a lot of those agencies that we used to have an immense amount of respect for, because they have become so politicized, you know, whether real or not, or maybe it's exaggerated, I hope, but it's pretty clear evidence. Almost all of those agencies are at the whims of the political winds, you know, to a large extent. It's a shame, because all those agencies have legitimate experts in there, people with lots of credibility working within them, just like you or me, that, you know, do the right thing, try to do the right thing, go out of the way to make sure they're doing the right thing. That's their career. They take it very, very seriously. But it's often just the folks in charge, you know, or the powers that be at the top of those organizations that get involved in politics, become politicized. The agency gets weaponized by some politicians and all that kind of stuff, which maybe it happened back in the 80s or the 70s or the 90s and we just weren't aware of it. But we've become so aware of it now. It's come out in Senate hearings and in court. I mean, it's just so clear. We see it live and in color, you know, so often now. That the Secret Service, another group like that, it's just a shame that they're, I don't know, they have not preserved the integrity of those agencies like they should have. You know, they should be totally above reproach, in my opinion, and never involved in politics. But that's hard to avoid when you get somebody who, maybe the head of the agency is appointed by you know, politicians of certain political leanings. Well, they're going to appoint people that agree with them on everything, and maybe activists. And so, you know, you end up with activists in charge of these organizations. And that's really what it comes down to that causes the problems, I guess. It's really a shame because most people in those organizations deserve the respect, I think, that we used to have for the entire organization. But it just occurred to me, and it's sad that politics has gotten into every little thing. And so, you know, anyway, what else was I dying to tell you about? Let me kind of load this thing at least one more time. Yeah, man, 300 grain bullet. For those who don't know, that's a heavy bullet. Okay, most 45 Colt rounds are about 250, and I mean that's kind of the top. It's like 44 Magnum. You get up much past up into the 275 and 300 grain bullets. You're talking about some heavy bullets per caliber for the cartridge. No doubt about it. Generally need to get up to do something else. Get a 45-70 if you want a 500 grain bullet or a 400 grain bullet. But it's nice. This is a very versatile rifle, something like this. And you'll see in a reloading manual, speaking of reloading, you'll see in there, sometimes I haven't looked at one for so long, but you know, they'll give loads for like the Ruger, or this is the load for a Marlin, you know. Or ammo manufacturers that actually sell these preloaded, like Double Tap or different companies, Buffalo Bore maybe, drawing up a Garrett cartridges. There's several of them that they'll indicate on their website or on the box that, you know, this is for like Ruger, Marlin, et cetera, or a Sharps rifle or something, you know, not to be used in a trapdoor Springfield, you know, or a Colt single action Army or whatever. Because those guns were made back in the black powder era. They weren't designed for high pressure rounds, you know. And even replicas, you know, if you buy a replica of a Colt single action made by Uberti or somebody, I don't know, they probably withstand a little more pressure maybe than an old Colt, but because they're made out of modern metals, but you wouldn't really, you know, trust it. They're still generally, if they're an exact replica, a real Colt clone, the cylinder walls are probably not going to be any thicker like they are on a Ruger. So, you know, you still wouldn't want to mess with anything high pressure. Okay? No charge for that information. No charge. I promise you, I will not invoice you for that. Okay. Let me shoot a couple of these. I'm trying to blow away on me here. What's not been shot? I see a bowling pin. Oh, I see a 2-liter behind it. I guess I'll knock the bowling pin out of the way. See if I can pop him on the top. I'll test the windage on this thing. Wow, that sent him rocking. You know, a bowling pin makes a good target for a lot of reasons. They're tough. And, you know, in the body, they're really not that wide. You can get right down to it. So it's not a gigantic target. And then if you want more of a challenge, that top is what, about that wide. So, you know, really versatile. So there's that 2-liter behind it, that pink 2-liter. Nice. Oh, I don't think I put one of these heavy hitters through that propane tank, have I? Now I have. What should we pop over there? How about, oh, that pig is sitting up over there against that tree. Yeah, that moved him. Looks like he's leaning a little more. Let's pop the gong again. I just like the sound. Oh, there's another round. Let's like it again. Yeah, there's another round. Let's just pop the coffin. Okay, I'm just going to shoot till it's empty. It holds a lot of ammo. Okay. Yeah, that's a nice gun. Again, it's neat to have a firearm. I've talked about this before. It's really cool to have a firearm that you like. If I couldn't even shoot this firearm very well, I would like it because it's just a good-looking gun. It's fairly historical, you know, based on the 1894, and it is an 1894 Marlin, and they made this in 1890s. You know, so you know, I don't know, what do you call? Do you call that a replica? You know, it's like the Colt Single Action Army. When you see one that was made last week, is it a replica of the Colt Single Action Army? No, they just started making it in 1873, and they're still making it. You know, so it's a Colt Single Action Army. So it's hard to know what to call these things, isn't it? But it's a nice rifle, smooth, just feels so good, convenient. They're a little short for me, so you might notice you've seen this in videos before. Some of you folks have been around a while. I had a leather, one I bought at Cabela's years ago, and with lace on it, and I just took that off today. I wanted to see how bad the stock was. It'd been on there for over 20 years, and yeah, it's faded a little bit. You can see, or it's gotten weird. I don't know, you know, you'd think it would have better finish. I don't know if you can see that very well, but you'd almost think the finish would be better and shinier under that than I don't know. I put some ballistol on it, and it looks better than it did when I took that off. But yeah, it's not as bad. I didn't know what I'd find under there after 20 years. Might be worms growing and crawling through there and drilling holes, eating the wood or whatever. So I'm just going to leave that off, and I'll treat it every now and then, maybe, because I can slip one of those on whenever I'm shooting it just as easily. Or I'll find another leather one I like better, maybe. But anyway, it's neat to have a gun that you like, and it's a bonus if you can hit with it, if it shoots well. You know, you got a double whammy bonus there. And then you also get kind of a third prize out of it to some extent, or attraction, when you've had it for a long time. That just sort of adds to this, I don't know what, sentimental value or whatever. Like this firearm has more meaning for me, or it's special, more special than another Marlin I might have bought 2 years ago, because I've had it for 24 years. And I'll talk a little bit more about that maybe next year when we do the 25-year anniversary for this baby. So that's pretty cool. The years really pass quickly, don't they? They really do. So that's an old JM Marlin, Cowboy Limited, 1894. And yes, when the Marlin was in North Haven, Connecticut, in the USA, as it says right on the barrel. Okay? And the only reason I'm still alive is there was a warning on the barrel that said misuse can cause injury or death. Follow the warnings and instructions in owner's manual. I had no clue that I needed to do any of that. So it's a good thing it was on the barrel. It saved my life. Yep. So it's a handy little rifle. I like it a lot. So I'll probably let you all get out of here. Well, I didn't give any advice to the young people, did I? Oh boy. Well, quick advice. Buy low, sell high. You know? Work hard. Show up on time wherever you work. Okay? Maybe have a smile on your face. Maybe try to be creative when it is appropriate. Think for yourself. Take initiative at whatever the job is you're doing. Maybe just you're in school. And try to achieve excellence. You know? Don't be a slacker. And guess what? you will really stand out in the crowd. I'm not telling you anything, am I? Because you know, a lot of your peers, a lot of people, my peers, anybody's peers, can tend to be slackers, right? And that seems to be a bigger issue as time moves on. So if you're someone with some ambition, initiative, a little creativity, you seem to want to rise within the organization and create a career, do something meaningful or whatever, it will be noticed, right? Now you may have some idiotic manager, of course all managers are idiotic, right? We've gone through that before, but it's not hard to be a standout because so many people are so mediocre in their effort and their ambition. Okay, so seize that opportunity, and it's not that hard to stand out and be somebody that will be considered for that promotion or that other department manager, whatever it might be. And many of you already know what I'm talking about because you've gone through that. You do have ambition and it has paid off. And you know how that is. And many of you work with people with no initiative. They just show up, maybe never on time. They just show up. They have no interest. They just want to draw a paycheck and then complain, about why you got a promotion and they didn't, or why you're making more per hour or whatever it might be, or why you get some perk, around the office or the job, whatever it might be, because they've been there longer, or their resume is better. Or I went to Wake Forest instead of Middle Tennessee State University. I should get that. People have this notion that all that stuff matters a whole lot more than it really does. What really matters is what you do and your attitude, and then just the basic stuff. You show up on time. You do what you're supposed to do. You do what nobody's perfect, but you do what's asked of you. There's a report that is needed by Monday. You get it done. That kind of thing. Emails you need to answer, you answer them. So anyway, just a little fatherly advice, grandfatherly advice, great-grandfatherly advice, right? So I've been through the corporate wars and all that, and I'm glad to be out of it. And I have a low tolerance for a lot of that silliness. I really do. And I don't have to deal with it very much, thankfully, being more or less, self-employed. But you just do encounter things. I just have a low tolerance for it. I'm done with all that. And one day I'll retire. And, but not yet, because I have too much fun. And I wouldn't do it if y'all didn't keep showing up. Y'all keep showing up, just like coming over here. I really wouldn't have shot as much or talked as much, but y'all keep showing up, so I do. So anyway, make sure you do keep showing up, and I appreciate it. Remember, we post every probably 3-4 times a week, and Sunday morning, usually Tuesday, sometimes Monday night or Tuesday morning, and about Thursday. Sometimes again on Friday or Saturday, and then Sunday. Man, we did too many videos, I guess, really. Probably did one a week. More of you would show up. I don't know, doesn't matter. We enjoy doing them, and so come around. One thing that's so funny is so many people, I see a comment all the time about how, you're still alive. You're still doing videos. Where were you? It's like we haven't gone anywhere. We're right here. So I'll be here, standing in the woods, talking to you. And it will be getting colder though, a month or two. But I'll still be out here unless it's too bad. But I will put a couple of these in the bank maybe. So don't hold it against me. This is the season that I love to come out and do this. I thoroughly enjoy bringing this baby out. Really, really cool. And I don't know why it occurred to me. I think it was because I had uncovered or come across that ammo I had, and I've got 300-400 rounds of it. These 300 grain bullets I loaded up. That's what I do. I assembly line it. I got those bullets and that brass, and okay, I'm gonna load up all of this. And so I found, several hundred rounds. I knew I had them. I mean, it wasn't like a great discovery. I had no clue I had. Just hadn't laid eyes on it for a while, behind some stuff. And yeah, I need to shoot some of that and get my Marlin out. And then I was getting excited about it. And as I pulled it out of the safe and located it pretty easily, and was cleaning it up and fondling it a little bit. And I thought, yeah, I even shined up the brass on the front sight. Thought, this is fun. It's such a fun gun. John loves this gun too. We've shot it. We both, whenever we do video, we both shoot everything. Before the video or after the video, whatever. And he just loves it. He can't miss with this gun either. Just loves the sights and the feel of it. It's one of his favorites and mine. So anyway, that's enough yakking probably. I'm gonna let you all go. But yeah, what I was gonna say, this is my favorite time of the year to get out and do anything, in the fall. And so I do come out and just shoot lots of times, just to shoot around. So I may do bring out the camera on a couple of them, and so I don't have to miss a Sunday if it's really bad weather that week or something. And I'm too much of a baby to come out in the 20-degree temperature or rain or whatever it might be, just so you won't miss my genius while you're having coffee on a Sunday morning. But like I said last week, I'm not going to try to pull it over your eyes, like the leaves are on and it's January or something like that. So anyway, I don't know anything else you need to know from me. That would have taken about 30 seconds, right? So just remember, well, I hope you enjoyed the videos this week, the old Colt single action. Speaking of that, the anniversary for the 1964 model, and the SP1 AR-15. I think I called it at the end of the video an SP101. Is that the Ruger revolver, SP101? SP01? SP101? Yeah, I think it is. Anyway, I called it the wrong name. It's SP1 AR-15. That's a neat little AR, isn't it? It's. I know in my hands it looks small, but it really is light and not that big, and just the handiest firearm. Fortunately, it's a collectible thing. Somebody mentioned they sell for about $3,000 or something. They're expensive now, but because it's collectible. But just a neat rifle. That's why I traded John out of it. He was willing to trade, and so anyway, I will let you go, and y'all come back next week, because I hope to be here yakking at you again. Okay, I'll try to be more smarter next week. Okay, life is good.